Okay, now we're going to look at Christopher Hitchens' view of Marx, what Marx's view of religion is, and and think about how that's made its way into popular culture. Um, let's see here. And then after that, we're going to talk about the issues of science and religion. So hopefully we can fit that all into a 10-minute video. Um, Now, Hitchens talks about Marx rather extensively, both in admiration and criticism. He used to be a Marxist, which we're going to get into. That's someone who wanted to implement Marx's political views in a very real governmental sense. He talks about Marx and quotes him on page 9 through 10, which I want you to really pay special attention to. And then also on page 92, he talks about Marx. And then on page 151 to 153, we're not going to go over those pages, but they're going to be really important in terms of your discussion question regarding Hitchens. So read those very carefully. All right. So what is Marx's view of religion? This is taken from page 9 through 10 of Hitchens' book. So go ahead and pause the video and go to there if you need to. This is quoted from Marx's work. It's an essay called Contribution to the Critique of Hegel's Philosophy of Right. Hegel was a previous philosopher. Marx, of course, not known for his brevity, makes essays with titles that are even hard to say and that I need to take a break after I say them. We're going to go step by step through Marx's view of religion, and the reason for that is because it is so verbose. There's a lot of words in there. He kind of tends to go on and on. All right, let's quote it first, so read along with me. Religious distress is at the same time the expression of real distress and the protest against real distress. Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of the heartless world, just as it is the spirit of a spiritless situation. It is the opium of the people. The abolition of religion as the illusory happiness of the people is required for their real happiness. The demand to give up the illusions about its condition is the demand to give up on a condition that needs illusions. The criticism of religion is therefore in embryo the criticism of the veil of woe, the halo of which is religion. Criticism has plucked the imaginary flowers from the chain, not so that man will wear the chain without any fantasy or consolation, but so that he will shake off the train and cull the living flower. Woo! What does that even mean? We're going to take it piece by piece. So the first paragraph. Religious distress is at the same time the expression of real distress and the protest against real distress. Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of the heartless world, just as it is in the spirit of a spiritless situation. It is the opium of the people. Okay, so for Marx, religion expresses the distress of the real life or one's real condition, and therefore offers a protest against the pain of this condition, of this real life. I'm putting those in quotes. And so it is a sigh of relief against that which is plaguing someone. Meaning, in this particular case, and we'll get into this further, particularly the economic distress placed on workers. And so someone's feeling bad. They don't necessarily know why they're feeling bad. They go to a religious service. This is Marx's view, of course. They participate in it and they feel good. And therefore, it's a relief. This is why Marx calls it an opium. It is in that it is cathartic and feels good and provides relief. Just like opium. If anyone's ever taken morphine or any opiate-based drug, they kind of know what that means. That is often misquoted to mean that it's used to control people, but looking in the context, I don't think that it means that. Okay? Moving on. The abolition of religion as the illusory happiness of the people is required for their real happiness. The demand to give up the illusions about its condition is the demand to give up on a condition that needs illusions. The criticism of religion is therefore an embryo, the criticism of the veil of woe, the halo of which is religion. Okay, what does that mean? Religion, for Marx, is an illusion that makes someone happy, as we went through. Therefore, its abolition would foster real happiness. That is, for Marx, happiness not buried within an illusion. Okay? Again, he thinks that religion is made up in order to make us feel happy because our condition is bad. For Marx, religion itself is not the problem, but the conditions which cause religion are the problem. And therefore, that's why it is a critique against the actual conditions. Now, Marx was specifically talking about the conditions of what he would call the lower class economically, that is, the normal workers of the world. Now, this is based off of a theory Marx developed that is commonly known as base and superstructure. This is from the preface of the Contribution to a Critique of Political Economy. The translation from the German that I read of it doesn't actually use the word base, but that's what it's commonly known as. So just throw that out there if you ever decide to read it. Although I've had to read it several times because, as you can see, Marx is not very brief. I'm going to, let's see here. Oh, okay. I'm going to use my board in order to try to explain base and superstructure within the context of Marx, and I want you to take notes on this. So here we have a base. A base is the conditions in which we live. We don't, according to Marx, we don't really question it necessarily, usually, but we do live in the reality of the base. And upon that base is formed a superstructure, which is the SS up here. That superstructure is our political and religious institutions. That's very important. Those are based on the base and other social institutions. So Marx's idea in terms of revolution and what he thought was a better economic plan, oh, here's my marker, is to get rid of the base. If you get rid of the base, then you automatically get rid of the superstructures that the base is based on. If you change the condition and come up with a new base, so let me move this into sight. So there's the new base. Then you'll have a new superstructure that is ultimately fosters better happiness, according to Marx. Happiness, according to Marx, is founded in reality. Therefore, the criticism of religion for Marx is ultimately the criticism of the conditions which make religion relevant or needed, which he thinks is some sort of injustice to workers. So the next paragraph. Criticism, actually, I'm going to going to have to make a new video. So give me just a minute. Sorry about that. I thought I could get it in, but